How's it going tonight, everybody? We're live, and it is a Project Black Flag playtest night. So we got our packet this week. I'm hoping everybody's had a chance to kind of look at it. I did a video on it the other night to kind of give an overview, though I kind of skipped over the part about about stats, about ability scores, and I've been kind of diving into that more the last couple days and really kind of taking a look at it. And there's definitely some differences between 5e and the ability scores. And I've kind of identified a few things that I don't think work that I'll be kind of putting into my feedback packet. So I want to definitely go over those tonight and show you guys, that stuff and what I have found and kind of get your guys' feedback on some of it and what you're thinking about it so far. So, we'll dive into that. But hope everybody's doing good tonight. It's been a crazy. I know I wasn't live at all last week. Just a lot going on last week between work and family stuff and things like that. So, and then obviously last night was Valentine's Day. So. Hung out with my wife, so doing the live tonight. So, hey Mike, hey Warren, hey Nick, glad you guys are all here. Welcome everybody. So, what do you guys think of the playtest packet so far? Have you guys had a chance to look at it? Also, I just got a hold of an early release of what's it called? The Cities book from Kobold Press. Some of you may start seeing shipping notifications, but I did get my YouTube preview PDF of it today. So maybe we can take a look at that later too if you guys want, because it looks interesting. It's definitely not maybe not quite what I was expecting. I was kind of expecting more of a book similar to Spectacular Settlements, and it's got got elements of that, but it's definitely different. So we can take a look at that and see what you guys think of that as well. So why don't we take a look though? Let's see what is going on with Black Flag. Let's see here. So here is our playtest packet. So I don't know how much you guys have gotten a chance to look at it, but we can definitely dive in and see what's going on here. Let's see. Let's just check the comments here. So Mike says he's been excited about it, which is good. Like I said, it's definitely interesting. I like like I said, I kind of like what I've seen so far with it, but it's I don't know if it's what I expected. Let's see here. Nick says, I looked at it and it seems a slight improvement over 1 D&D for character generation. Yeah, I would say it's better than 1 D&D for sure. I definitely like it better than 1 D&D. Sorry, I'm trying to pull some stuff up here. Let's see here. Oops. Not what I meant to do. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Now that I have this. So yeah, I agree. It is definitely an improvement over 1 D&D. It's definitely different. Anyways, why don't we dive in and take a look at it, because it's yeah. Anyways, sorry. I'm trying to mess up my screen setup here. Why don't we dive in and take a look? Because there is definitely some elements of it here that I like, and there's some things that I think could be a little better. It's a bit bolder, but I like to see them take it further in 5e. Yes, I kind of agree with that. It is. It's a little different, right? It's not. I don't know how to put it. I I like elements about it, right? Like I like the talents. I like the way they've done backgrounds. I like the way they broke up heritage and lineage. I think it's better approaches to these same problems that WotC was trying to solve with 1D&D. The stat generation is definitely something I want to look at tonight because they are so as opposed to putting your 2 and your 1 anywhere you want, they're just baking it right into your point buy or into your standard array. With rolling, you basically you can add the 2 and the 1 pretty much anywhere you want as long as you don't go above an 18. But with the standard array and the point buy, you don't add the 2 and 1 at all. It's just baked in. And I think that the standard array is a little weak. And I think that even the point buy needs a bit of a bump. And I'm going to show you guys why. So let's get into the packet here. Warren says, question, what are these talents supposed to be a replacement for all the feats at first or first level feats? Great question. Don't have an answer, right? I don't even know if they're going to replace the feats or if they're different than the feats. I think talents are replacing feats, right? Because, for instance, there's one in here that we'll look at later that kind of looks like the tough feat, but a little better. But basically, kind of like what they did with Dragonlance, you get a feat as part of the background. And I think that was something that 1D&D was planning on doing anyways, was building feats into background. So I think that's what this is. We're not seeing, obviously, the entire array of them. And the way they're worded, it does sound like I think what's going to happen is when they release classes, you're going to get talents at certain levels, right? You're going to be able to take new talents on top of class skills. I don't know if it'll be ASI or talent, or if it'll be ASI and talent, or if it'll be just ASI and then you can take a talent else, or you'll get talents elsewhere. I'm really anxious to see how they do classes. I think that'll make a big difference. But they're trying to keep this all compatible with the existing 5e, right? Their entire backlog of 5e books needs to continue to work. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see, like, for instance, they'll say, well, if you want to do, let's say, the Gear Forged from Tome Heroes, this is how this is what you would do for these. Would be the heritage abilities, and these would be lineage. So maybe they'll give us kind of like a guide to breaking them up as opposed to replacing the entire book. I don't know, because I don't think they want to replace the entire book. I think monsters are pretty much going to stay like 5e monsters. I don't foresee a huge change in that. So I guess we'll see. If they take it too far, then people will have to rebuy books. Folks wouldn't be happy about that. I think there's two camps right now. I think there's a camp of people who wanted to stay compatible with 5e and work with 5e and just be a 5e adjacent system. And I think then there's a camp of people who just were hoping for a whole new system that was nothing like 5e. And I think that those people that I'm seeing kind of being vocal about that, I get their disappointment. But Kobold Press made it very clear from day one that this was going to be a 5e adjacent system. What they're calling, I see people calling it, 5e with a new coat of paint or with glasses and a hat. That's what Pathfinder was. It was 3.5 with a new coat of paint. The idea is that if 1D&D goes a certain direction that we don't like, which to me it is going that direction. Like I see things in 1D&D that I do like, but what I see them doing with classes, I think is going to completely break backwards compatibility. So if we want to maintain backwards compatibility with 5e and have a system that continues that 5e support moving forward, this is what we need. If you want something that's completely different, go play Pathfinder 2, go play, DCC, go play, one of the other 100 games out there that are really good games that are very different. What we need is a 5e system that continues 5e for us moving forward. So I think that's what this will be. Okay, now another question. Now that is another question. Are we placing all the changes on the player character and the rest of the world is basically the same as far as stats? Great question. First time us. I don't know. I would think that it's going to be pretty similar. I mean, maybe we'll see some new conditions introduced. Maybe we'll see some new damage types introduced. They just introduced the Witch in Deep Magic 2 and the Urge in Deep Magic 2. So, maybe we'll see those as base classes. But yeah, I don't know. As far as like monsters and go, I think that you'll be able to take any 5e monster and plug it in. Now they are obviously making a monster book that's essentially going to be all the SRD monsters for Black Flag, plus probably plus some new stuff, right? Maybe it'll be their version of the Mind Flayer or their version of the Beholder and things like that we might want in a book, but they do need to have their own monster book, right? It's their own system. You're not just going to say, go look up the 5e SRD. You're going to kind of recreate that stuff. I think there will have to be a Tome of Heroes update if they want to do the Lineage and Heritage split. I don't, will there need to be an update or will there need to be a guide? Because what I'm seeing out of Lineage, with that question, spells and monsters and adventures should also work. Yeah. So, with that question, why don't we actually skip down to the Lineage section real quick, because it's a good segue into this. So, the way I'm looking at the whole lineage and heritage thing is it's essentially things that are genetic versus things that are learned, right? So, weapon proficiencies are learned, where dark vision is genetic. So I think it's very easy to figure out how to do that. Let's see here. Let me find it. So Lineage and Heritage, right? If we look at stuff here, right? So Lineage and Heritage. So elements of Lineage are age, size, speed, right? Elements of Heritage are alignment and languages, weapon proficiencies, things like that. So we have a dwarf lineage here, right? It talks about their age, it talks about their size, it talks about how fast they can move, it talks about their night vision instead of dark vision. They talk about night vision, certain innate resiliences, and genetic ability to be tougher, have more hit points, right? Those are all things that you're born with. But things like Forgecraft, Friend of Elven's, being able to speak a certain language, this Reforge ability, learning the Mending cantrip, those are, languages. Those are things that you've learned. So I think it's pretty easy to look at any race and just and trait that. But I do like, how they're creating multiple heritage options. Like if we took Gearforged, for instance, and we did this, we'd really just have, here are the Gearforged, heritage options, and here are their lineage options. Like there's only going to be one heritage option, right? So they could release a book of Gearforged heritage options, or all their race heritage options. They could totally do a whole book of those things to give you some more flavor, like a Tome of Heroes 2 kind of deal. Definitely something they could do. They don't really need to redo all of Tome of Heroes, though. It's really just the races they need to redo. So. And maybe they might have to touch up subclasses a little. I don't know. We'll have to see how classes work. I'm definitely curious to see how classes work. But why don't we go back and take a look at? Oh, right here. By the way, error right here. Right, this should have been 900 and then 2700 and then the 6500. So the XP is the same here. But I want to look at. So if we look at rolling, right? So there's three ways to obviously generate stats. The first is to roll. That's 7's a typo. 46 is, so 46, drop the lowest, right? Add them up. And then you can add 2 to 1 score of your choice below 16 and 1 to 1 score of your choice that is 17 or below. So you can end up with 2 18s, rolling up to 2 18s. But you can't go over 18. Obviously, you can end up with much better stats rolling, but you can also end up with much worse stats rolling. That's why we roll. It's a gamble. So I think that works out pretty well. However, point by, let me show you guys something here. I want to show you guys what the problem here that I have with point by is. It's not a big problem, right? First off, well, here, I'll show you this. I'm going to pull up this website for you guys. So let me go to my browser here. Let's see here. Hide the PDF. Okay, this is just the point by calculator site. So if we look at this site and come over to custom rules, and you can see here in 5e point by, we have 27 points. We have a 15 max attribute, but you'll notice here that it goes from, assuming this is okay, this is the standard right here. It goes at 15, it costs 9 points. At 16, it goes up by 3, right, to 12, and then to 15 to 19. If we go back here and we look at our PDF, though, you'll see here that it's 11, 13, and 16. So they're doing 2 points here, 2 points here, 3 points not until 18. So the reason that there is no official 5e that says what it costs to go to 16, 17, 18. What people generally are considering this is kind of how they did it in 3.5 and Pathfinder. Though the scores were lower back then, it cost fewer points, you also had less points. At 15 to 16, it jumped up 3 points instead of 2 points. So that's where this comes from. But let's make all things equal and just say that this is going to be 11, and this is going to be 13, and this is going to be 16, just like that. So same as the black flag, right? Just to keep all things equal. So we have this set up now. So what I want to do here is I want to create a we're gonna leave everything else the same. So 27 points, 15 max. Okay. Actually, no. I'm sorry. We're gonna do 18 max here, just to kind of show you how the point values work. But only 27 points. We're going to go back here and we're going to actually select a race. So I'm going to do a wood elf. And the reason I'm doing that is because we're getting our +2 and +1. And now we're going to distribute points. So we're going to go for a Dexy elf. I want to get this up to an 18. Okay. Let's just say our con is going to be 14. Our wisdom is going to be 12. Our intelligence will be 12. And our charisma will be 10. Okay. So right here, you can see 8, 16, 14, 12, 11, 10. I'm going to put that in chat just so we remember it, okay? So 8, 18, 14, 12, 12, 10. All right, so those are our stats. Using 5e, the same point value as Black Flag with racial bonuses. So now let's come back over here, and let's bump this up to 32, which is what we get in Black Flag. All right, let's go back to our calculator and reset it. Now we're not going to do a race, right? So we're not going to have racial bonuses because we don't get racial bonuses in Black Flag. We're just going to dump these 32 points. And we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to bump this to an 18. Okay, so we spent 16 points there. We're going to bump this back to the 14 that we had before. We're going to bump our intelligence to a 12. We're going to bump our wisdom to a 12. And we're going to bump our charisma only to a 9. So right here, we can see that the Black Flag standard array is a little weak. What we need here is a 33-point system, not a 32-point system. So if we do that, now we're equal to what we can get out of 5e. So that's one kind of issue that I definitely discovered here. The other issue that I find is with the standard array, I think is a little weak, right? So let's take a look here at the standard array. So if we look at the standard array, it's 16, 15, 13, 12, 10, 8. I'm going to pop those in just in order. I'm doing it behind this so I can read the PDF here. Actually, I don't need to. So let's do this. So we like this. All right. So I'm going to pop that standard array in just like it says in Black Flag. And we're going to see how many points it actually uses. So we already discovered that we need 33 points, right? So the standard array is 16, 15, 13, 13, 12, 10, and 8. There we are. That's only 31 points. That's less than what they already have the standard array or the point buy at currently. It needs to be 33 points, right? So we should be able to get a 14 out of this, and something else, or something higher. Or really, we should be able to get a 14 out of this. I guess that would give us 33 points. But yeah, so we need 33 points for all things to be equal. So what I would say is that I guess we need 2 more points here somewhere. So I would say that it should be 16, 15, 14, 12, 10, 8 maybe. Or maybe, is 13 cost? 13 only costs 1 point. So it could be 16, 15, 13, 13, 11. I mean, it could be that. So there's a few ways to do it, I think, but the standard array does seem a little weak. Now, if you look at the standard array from 5e and you popped it in, and add rate, +2/+1 from racials, you get 27 points as well. So assuming you're maximizing and things like that, you get 27 points. So the standard array is definitely weak. The point buy is a little weaker than it should be. So those are 2 changes that I see that need to be made right off the bat. No, you do not add +2 and +1 to standard array in Project Black Flag. You do in 5e, but not in Black Flag. The only time you add +2, +1 is when you roll dice. So that I think is an important point to note, because that does seem just a little off. Maybe if they allowed the +1 and +2 for all 3 options, that would be fair enough. No, because you would have to either create a smaller standard array, or you would have to or create less points for point buy. Now we're already allowing an 18, which that in itself is a question: is should that be allowed? That's creating some power creep. I feel like 5e is kind of already designed around generally a score of no more than 17, like no more than a +3 bonus at level 1. So, but we've seen a lot of power creep in 5e. So, assuming that's what we want, are more powerful characters earlier, we want that 18, because now you're going to have a 20 at level 4 probably, where before you wouldn't get it to like level 8 in most cases. So we'd have to either go basically it's 27 points with a +2 +1, or it's 33 points. And I kind of like the idea of the 33 points, right? That works for me. You don't even have to allow the 18. Like if we did 33 points and said you can't go higher than 17, we with the same character as we would, in 5e with the +2 +1 from racials. But I like that I like the idea of it baking into the points or into the standard array, as opposed to making it reliant on racials. That to me makes sense. The other option you could do too is you could have the bonuses, rather than being based on heritage, you could have it based on lineage and on background. That could be interesting. To base it off of lineage and or background could be a way to do it. Or, you could even do it off heritage, right? But rather than both of the abilities being based off heritage, you get your +1 from your heritage and your +2 from your background. That could work. But baking it right into the point buy, I think it's a great way to do it. There's nothing wrong with that. And the 18 max, like I said, it's stronger, but is the game going to be balanced around that? If it is, then great, it works. Adding the +2 and +1 to point buy in 5e yields 33 points. Equivalent. Exactly. That's exactly my point. That's what we just did on here, right? Is when we built the wood elf, right? That's what we got, was 33 points. So that's what Black Flag needs, not 32, but 33 points. So they need to bump that standard array up by 1, or not standard array, the points up by 1, and they need to bump the standard array up a little bit to make it also equivalent to 33 points. Looking at the strength of the talents, I'm not sure people will be bumping stats at level 4. Well, you're also assuming that's going to be an ASI or talent at level 4. We don't know that yet. That might not be the case. So yeah, but you're absolutely right. Maybe, if the talents are good enough, then yeah, you might, that might be a great reason. Like that kind of, I think having the 18 at level 1 encourages people to take talents at level 4 because like I'm already, pretty strong. Maybe you don't get an ASI at 4 at all. Maybe you have to take a talent at 4 and you can't take an ASI until 8. That's possible. Maybe that's why they did it. Like I said, it's hard to judge the design of this without seeing what the class structure is going to be. But from a pure mathematics standpoint, I think we identified an issue here with the point buy and standard array for sure. The reasoning behind it is hard to say because we don't know yet. But I think there's definitely a mathematical issue with it. The talents look great, right? Like I said, I like the whole lineage heritage design. I think it's a very elegant way to address the whole thing, because I've always agreed with Watsy about not all dwarves should just be short and stocky and do the same thing. Like I like the idea of a variety in those characters, but then you have the other side of the argument, like, well, dwarves are dwarves still. So breaking that into heritage and lineage is a really elegant way to solve that problem and actually kind of appease both sides of that argument, so to speak, because we still have our racial inherited, genetic abilities, but then other things that maybe, would come from, growing up someplace that's not under the mountain, would give you those other abilities. So I think it's cool. I'm all about the whole heritage lineage. I think it's a great solution, and I'm looking forward to seeing some more of what they come up with these. They're pretty cool. The backgrounds, I like what they're doing with backgrounds. It's pretty similar to what we've seen already, in 5e, right? It's not, we get equipment, we get skills, we get stuff, but we get the talents instead. So there's two things that are missing from 5e backgrounds. One is obviously the background feature, which those features were never awesome anyways. A lot of times you forget about them, you don't use them, or when you do use them, you're like, I don't know. As a DM, sometimes it felt a little weird. Like, okay, so you were a sailor, so you could always get cheap passage on any ship ever. I don't know. So, getting rid of the features and now getting a feat instead, I think is a great idea, or a talent instead. I like it. I think the talents might need a little work, a little tweaking. Some of them, for instance. Combat casting is freaking amazing. Is it combat casting? Is that the one? No, not combat casting. Which one was it? This one. School specialization. This one's super cool. +1 to attack rolls, +1 to DCs. That's... These abilities are cool. The mental, all these magic ones I think are really good. Maybe too good. The martial ones to me, I think maybe aren't as great, right? So armor training, a fighter's never going to use armor training because he's already proficient in all that. So he'll probably take armored combatant is the best option, +1 AC. Okay, pretty cool. And resistance to non-magical damage equal to your damage reduction equal to your proficiency bonus. So that's pretty cool. Combat conditioning, I'd almost say, is great for a barbarian, except it's not, because the other part of it is this: you bump your hit die up, and a barbarian already has D12, so he loses half of this. Most barbarians don't wear armor anyways; they rely on unarmored defense, I think. So armor training isn't great, and this doesn't work. So I don't like any of these for barbarians. Hand to hand, Through regular practice, wrestling, boxing, or engaging in some other form of martial arts, you have mastered techniques that allow you to efficiently fight without the use of weapons. You gain the following benefits. You're proficient with unarmed strikes. If you are a medium-sized creature, your unarmed strike deals bludgeoning damage equal to 1d6 plus strength. If you are a small-sized creature, okay, so we get that. You have advantage on ability checks to initiate or escape a grapple. Barbarian kind of already has that when raging. This might be the best one for a barbarian. I don't know how, like, you might not always use it. It's like great for like a bar fight or maybe certain scenarios, but I don't really love any of these for a barbarian. And if this is the only one that's even remotely good, every barbarian's going to take it. So we need to see, I think, maybe some more variety here. Something a little better. Like these are fine for like a fighter. I don't like them for a barbarian. Paladin, yeah, these are probably, most of these are probably, or some of these are fine for a paladin. I don't see anybody really. I don't know who would use armor training. What martial class you think would take armor training at level 1? Maybe at later levels, but not at level 1. Or I shouldn't say. Others can take martial talents. Like we haven't seen all the backgrounds, obviously, so there might be other backgrounds where these come in handy. I just don't know what a barbarian's going to take here. You think the human cosmopolitan heritage has an issue on street smart? Your groups can't become lost. Yeah, I'll get into that. I agree with you on that one. I'm not a fan of the human cosmopolitan heritage. These trade talents seem alright to me. They're fine. There's only 2 of them here. I want to see more talents. I really want to see more talents. Right now I feel like we don't have enough to go on. I think the magic talents are great. I think the others, the martials, are lackluster. I think the technical talents, let's see here. You've studied languages extensively, allowing you to effortlessly communicate in multiple languages, puzzle out critical information from a language you don't know. When you select this talent, you gain the following benefits. Learn 3 languages of your choice. I like that. You have advantage on charisma ability checks made to interact with non-hostile creatures from whom any of those 3 languages is their primary language. Kind of cool for maybe a bard or a wizard. I mean, I can see a wizard taking this. Whenever you make an ability check related to understanding the meaning of verbal or written language you don't know, you can add your proficiency bonus to the roll. All right. So yeah, polyglot, it's okay. It's not bad. It definitely has uses. Like this, I feel like this would be a good bard thing. I can see a bard taking that. Trade skill, you have honed the skills necessary to perform a particular job or profession. When you select this talent, decide what that profession is, and then gain the following benefits. Gain proficiency with 1 skill and 1 type of tool or vehicle relevant to your chosen profession. Alternatively, gain proficiency with 2 types of tools or vehicles relevant to your chosen profession. Provided you have access to the necessary equipment and customers, you can spend the day plying your trade and expect to be paid 2 gold or paid with goods or services of equivalent value. This one's okay. Like this part's really cool. This part, not so much. I guess during downtime, you made a few gold during the week, like 2 gold. Who cares? But this part's kind of cool. I could definitely get some use out of that. Yeah, I could see a mage taking polyglot. I could see, charisma-based classes definitely taking it. Like a lore bard would be all over this for sure. Stoked about polyglot and Pathfinder 1E. Expand this a little. There we go. In Pathfinder 1E, I always play a paladin or cavalier with high diplomacy, charisma, and the linguist feat. Yeah, the polyglot's cool. I like it a lot. I'm all about it. Cosmopolitans have some advantages to some charisma skills. Not sure which ones, or perhaps advantage if you spend so long getting to know someone. Yeah. There we go. So let's take a look then at that cosmopolitan. So let's see here. Where is he at? Talents, backgrounds. So the cosmopolitan. Let's look. Yes, this is just a sampler of talents. Question is, are these all the talents that are available at first level, or will there be more available at first level? I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more talents. It's just, are these all we get to choose from at first level, or will there be more, level ones? I would hope there's gonna be more. I would hope. All right, so looking at the Cosmopolitan, Street Smarts. When in a city or other urban environment, you and your group can't become lost except by magical means. While you're in such an environment, you also can't be surprised except when you are asleep or otherwise incapacitated. I don't like that. I really don't. Cities, especially if it's your home city, sure. But if it's a city you've never been to, like, I grew up, hell, man, I grew up near New York. I used to go to New York City all the time. I could still get lost there. And, that said, I know my way around New York pretty well. First time I went to Philadelphia, I got lost. So, being in a new city, it's so easy to get lost. I don't know. It's not like somebody who grew up in Manhattan and will never get lost in any city ever in their entire life. That's just not how it works. And then not being surprised, like if you're doing an urban campaign and someone takes this, that's so powerful because that means there's never going to be a surprise attack. Like you will never get surprised ever in the entire campaign. So I don't know. I don't really love that one. Worldly wisdom. Whenever you make a check related to understanding the purpose or significance of a building, right, or object from a culture you aren't familiar with, you can add your proficiency bonus to the roll. If you have proficiency in a relevant skill or tool, you add double the proficiency bonus to the roll. Like, I guess, okay. I mean, it makes sense. Like, you can look at it and be like, oh, yeah, that looks like the town. That must be the town hall. That must be the jail. That must be a library. Yeah, that's cool, I guess. Sure. It's fine. Lackluster. Common and 2 additional languages of your choice. Typically, creatures of this heritage would choose Dwarvish and Elvish. Yeah, languages are fine. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know about this whole cosmopolitan heritage. I definitely don't like street smarts. I think that needs to go. We need something else. Worldly wisdom is fine. Because obviously these are heritage. We don't want anything overly powerful, but I think street smarts is almost too powerful. I don't know about worldly wisdom. I mean, it's okay. It seems cool. You know what I see? I think somebody just said it actually. Yeah, you said it, Nick. I agree with this. You should have advantages in some charisma skills. I think that you should get advantages on like persuasion skills when talking to people in the city. Maybe not like, or like when seeking information about the city from the general population kind of thing. Like, you're just, how to talk to people in the city. You can go up and say, hey, I was wondering if you could help me out. We're looking for that, whatever. I think talking to people, it should definitely be a social thing. I think would be good there. I definitely agree with that. Are we not looking at the packet right now? I'm sorry. See that? You guys gotta keep me honest, guys. There we go. Too many windows open. That's my problem. So let's see here. So yeah, I'm not a fan of street smarts. That's gotta go. Worldly wisdom is all right. I almost like Nick's idea better. Like I'd replace this with the proficiency, with the bonus to charisma checks to discover information about the city, and then I don't know what to replace street smarts with. I really don't like street smarts. Yeah, a lore bonus could be good. Yeah, a charisma skill bonus makes a ton of sense and could lead to a lot of roleplay. I agree 100% with you on that. Yeah, right. It gives fire resistance. Yeah, I mean humans generally don't have those types of resistances. Although doesn't I mean you get a resilience one right here, right? The nomad gets advantage on checks and saves to resist weather, so they kind of get something like that there. Um, I don't know. What do you think though? I feel like all right. I'm kind of on board with the charisma. Like I almost like the charisma stuff in place of worldly wisdom. Um, the street smarts. Well, in the city or other urban environment, you and your group can't become lost. I don't like that. And can't be surprised. Definitely don't like that. Well, yeah, the negotiation bonus, right? But that's what we're talking about with like the charisma check, persuasion checks, things like that. So I would say advantage to charisma checks. Um, uh, well, in a city. I'm trying to think though, like like if you're trying to convince a well, you know what? Screw it. I would just say all. Because I was gonna say if you're trying to convince a guard not to arrest you, yeah, like if you're good at talking to the cops and stuff, the cops, NYPD man, there's a way you could talk to those guys. So understanding that kind of thing, I think I think charisma checks, advantage on charisma checks, or at least persuasion and maybe deception checks. Maybe not intimidation, but at least persuasion and deception checks, I think would be cool. You could replace street smarts with charisma skill and make worldly wisdom about more general lore, like more different cultures because you've met them. Hmm. Um. Hmm. I don't know. Like the name street smarts it can mean so many different things. So I kind of like the name street smarts, and yeah, I kind of agree with you, like the charisma checks and things like that, because like you might be able to negotiate better prices, like haggling, right? Like put my mom in Manhattan and let her start haggling. I guarantee she's gonna do really good. Um, so yeah, I mean, all those kind of checks. I think the street smarts should definitely be charisma based. I agree. Advantage to using libraries, understanding more religions, or perhaps I don't know. Um, let's just say street smarts, charisma checks, and then worldly wisdom should be. Maybe make a check related to the person's significance of building a right or object from a culture I'm familiar with. I mean, I guess worldly wisdom is fine. I don't love it. Like, I feel like I'm kind of just getting gypped out of something with that one. Um, I don't know. Definitely don't love it, but I definitely like the idea of street smarts being charisma based. The dwarven one seemed good. The elven ones all seemed good. I was fine with all those, but cosmopolitan was definitely the weakest of the bunch. Hmm. We need ideas, people. We need ideas. Um, the library idea. One of my bards did that in the game, and it was awesome. So you're saying advantage in using libraries, understanding. Well, I would say research, not just libraries. Advantage to research, but that's such a like it's certainly going to be like I think more of an intelligent character that's going to take that's going to like want that research ability, but there's more than just those types of characters that are going to be humans and want the Cosmo. Like I feel like Cosmo would be good for a rogue too, right? He's not going to care about research, so trying to come up with something that maybe appeals to everyone. And yeah, as far as the haggling point, that comes back to the charisma checks. So I'm all for the charisma checks. I'm totally 100% on board there. Um, I would just like a better idea other than this worldly wisdom. So we train street smarts to charisma, and then worldly wisdom. I say, what's something else? I'm trying to think of like something else that says city. Um, what else says city to me? Um, I think about like the government, like in medieval city. I'm thinking about like royalty, nobles, things like that. Um, you know, um, but like, what would it do? You know, what's what we can look at? There's a couple of backgrounds, right? 5e backgrounds that are like urban type backgrounds. Um, hmm. No, I don't know. I don't know about that. Dealing with a lot of races, yeah, dealing with a lot of different types of people. Um, let's look up something real quick. Let me pull up. We're gonna go to the dreaded D&D Beyond just because it's easier to look this up. But I just want to look up some backgrounds real quick. Um, backgrounds. All right, pull this up for us. Um, so if we pull this up, these backgrounds up. Charlatan, City Watch Investigator, Clan Crafter. I'm trying to think of something like city, something urbany. Um, like Failed Merchant, for instance. What was their thing? Um, it could be something informational, like how to find information, that kind of thing. I think that goes back to the charisma stuff, though. Um, let's see. Let's see. No, I don't like noble. Hmm. Contact the people. Urchin. You can travel between any two locations in the city twice. That would be good. What if you can get around the city quicker? Like you might not know this city, but you know how to get around cities quicker. That could be kind of interesting. I don't know how. I feel like that kind of gets hand waved anyways, though. So maybe not. Um, let's see. Um, Even though you might not be a member of the Gateway crew, you associate with enough of them to know their torch-based code. From lighting placement and type, strangers have. Yeah, it's tough, man. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with something. A linguist, street fighting. Yeah, but again, like a wizard's not going to watch street fighting. Um, blending in. I don't know. I don't know. I think the whole idea of the urban thing kind of is tough. Maybe like a sense motive bonus. My friends are always better at not getting conned. That'd be interesting. Advantage on insight checks, or just you can add your proficiency bonus to insight checks. Well, in an urban environment, if you're already proficient, this is doubled. That could be good, right? That could be an interesting one. um, it's still going two things that are just trade skill, or not trade skill, but skill based. But I don't know what else would be good, but that's not a bad idea. Like some kind of something to do with insight's not bad. That's a good idea, Nick. I don't know. Well, I think that's stuff definitely though for the review. That Cosmopolitan in general feels a little meh. That Street Smarts feels overdone, and that a charisma based advantage on charisma, or adding a proficiency bonus to charisma checks. If you're already proficient, you double this, that kind of deal. Sticking with their other wording. You notice I don't see a whole lot of them saying anything about advantage or disadvantage in this entire document. I wonder if they're not leaning on it as much. Do they say advantage? Oh, they do. Let's see here. Yeah, you have advantage there. Beast affinity. Yeah, okay. So you have advantage on that. You have advantage on ability checks made to initiate or escape your grapple. Advantage on charisma checks made to interact with non-hostile creatures from whom any of those. I wonder if they would be worried about, like, if you were that human background in Polygon, like, you don't want to stack things. So that might be a reason not to have the charisma. I don't know. Yeah, like socialite. Yeah, that's a good point, right? Because a socialite, right, like a noble from the city, is going to have a much different heritage than an urchin from the city. So maybe that just maybe the whole idea of that of this urbanite or cosmopolitan needs to go, and this should be like socialite heritage, urchin heritage, that kind of thing. Like break that up, rather than just being a nomad or either being nomadic or from a city. There could be like kind of like a country boy one too, right? Like small town heritage, farmer heritage, something like that. I think it's hard to say because we're looking at such a small sample size. It's kind of, I think it's tough. I'm not a big fan of the cosmopolitan heritage in general though, so I'll definitely at least put in my feedback that I don't love the cosmopolitan heritage the way it is. I think that Street Smarts is I don't like. I feel like it's over, maybe a little too powerful. And I would, I like the idea of advantage on charisma checks instead. But regardless, I feel like it's too broad a stroke for a heritage. I think that there should be different types of urban heritages, because different types of people are going to have much different experience. So that's my feeling on it. So yeah, exactly that. Well, unfortunately, man, that's like all there is for this playtest. I'm kind of looking forward to more. What was the deadline on this one? Was let me see here. The deadline on this one is articles. You know what? They released. Let's take a look at this. This is good information right here. This is a new blog post about playtest. I wish I could find that. There's another great article that someone shared with me about playtest feedback as well. That I can share with you guys. So this is an article they just posted. Playtesting is a luxury every designer wishes for more of. More time, more tables, more reports. You might not see it, but designers crave feedback to make the final game better. But as with any luxury good, it's about quality, not quantity. So what can you do to be a better playtester? In many years as both a playtester and playtest coordinator for many Kobold Press publications, I have found that a good playtest report hits 4 notes well. It is considerate, it's appropriate, it's useful, and it's focused. By the way, this is by Ben McFarland, who he runs most of Kobold Press's playtests. He's not doing the Black Flag one, but he does most of theirs. And actually, the thing I was going to share with you was from him, so this probably covers it all, anyways. No one of these elements is more important than the others. All of them together provide a report in a sweet harmony, but what does each aspect mean? Considerate. When feedback is considerate, it takes into account that what we're working on with and reading was written by another human being who loves the game as much as you do. They love the game enough to make enough that they dedicated the time and mental energy to craft a manuscript, put it in front of a complete stranger, and ask for feedback. This is an immense emotional and mental risk, and one worth your kindness in return. When you review a playtest manuscript, presume the author did not mean anything malicious, and if you notice something which merits correction or clarification, act from a belief that it was unintentional. It almost always was. So basically, don't be mean, because these people are creating something. They're asking for feedback, not for us to be terrible people. When feedback is appropriate, it means you comment on playtests that the designers asked you to evaluate. That might seem straightforward, but generally you're not asked to review grammar or style or even presentation. Sure, there are times you might be. However, if you're asked about how a particular spell works at the table and you mention how you don't like ice spells or hate enchantments, neither of these things are feedback as much as they are opinions about the material. While playtests certainly playtesting certainly consider opinions are less useful than mechanical quantitative feedback. Strive to give feedback that explains why you arrived at a conclusion using the material you've been asked to test, and stay within the requested scope. So yeah, basically, don't give your which is kind of weird, right? Because we're sitting here giving our opinion on something, but so like if we look at let's go back over here. If we go back over here and we look at the heritage again, and we're talking about Cosmopolitan, we could say I don't like Cosmopolitan. Okay, great, but what we really need to say is Street Smarts feels like it might be too powerful because, people generally, even being from a city, would still get lost in new cities. So it feels like too broad of a stroke, and that limiting all surprise attacks against somebody in an urban environment could really be breaking to urban campaigns. That's good feedback. We did not like how this worked at our table because blah, blah, blah. Worldly wisdom, compared, the players found that compared to other abilities they received from other heritages, this one was underwhelming. That's decent feedback. All right, let's go back over to the browser and keep reading here. So focused. Finally, when feedback is focused, it remains dedicated to identifying problems. The playtester is not tasked with finding answers to the problem they bring up. The designer's job is to accomplish the revisions. We want designers to find new answers for the complications you discover. Additionally, we don't want you to get derailed with a particular hiccup in the manuscript, but stay focused on testing the material. If you find an issue that halts play, please identify and document clearly. Decide how to continue with some kind of hot fix, and then keep playing. Never just quit. Explain the preventative measure you use to keep playing, because it might help identify what was lacking or required better explanation. So here, I think what they're saying is we should tell them that we don't like, like what we don't like about that heritage, what ability we don't like, and why. But not necessarily say this is how you fix it. Like, let them kind of design that. I think it's okay to maybe throw it like we felt that maybe having something that more geared around charisma checks is a more appropriate thing for a player in this position. But that's just our opinion. Like they can design something. So us really telling them like this is what we would do, that isn't as helpful. Playtesters are invaluable. And with all of this, know your efforts are supremely appreciated, whether that is a cheer on Twitter, or a credit line in a published product, or a post on a website, every playtested project is so much better due to the efforts of people like you. Thank you and your groups, and thank you for your time and willingness to invest in playing and writing your reports. You are very often the spark that helps us, the proverbial lightning in a bottle. So, yeah, I mean, keep that in mind, right? This is a good article to kind of keep in mind when looking at the playtest. I want to look at that because this is funny, the Last of Us stuff, because I do a lot with AAW, and they're all about mushrooms and fungus and stuff. So we've been talking about something with that. So yeah, this goes until Monday, February 27th. So we may not even see a new playtest until beginning of March. So yeah, make sure we submit, you guys go in here, submit your feedback, and let them know what you think. I want to look at this now. Now I'm curious. TV and Tabletop is a series where Apocalypse Fungus. Yeah, okay. Look at that. Spore Mad. So they're basically stat blocking the stuff from The Last of Us. I'm going to have to read this later. That's pretty cool. Let's get back over to comments. You want to be a rogue with that with the urban heritage? I used to drive trucks all over the state, and I would get lost in the cities. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not a fan. Not a fan of it. Everything else I like, right? I think takeaways, right? The point buy needs to be 33. The standard rate needs to get bumped up. I think rolling is fine. I can't speak to is 18 is starting stat good or not, because I don't know what the rest of it's going to look like. I don't really have a big problem with it as a dungeon master, but is the rest of the game going to be balanced around it? I got to assume so, because if it's not, then problems. So let's see here. The other thing I have is, let me pull this up. The other thing that we have, if you guys want to look at it, I have the City Builders book here. So this is Kobold Press's newest Kickstarter. This just came out. It's, like I said, some of you may have been getting shipping notices for it. But I got a little, early preview copy of it today. It seems pretty cool. I haven't really got to look at it much yet. But they talk about, what's a city, right? 5 questions about what's a city. So, what is the city's age? What's its primary function? What's the trades goods? What's the size and population? And what's the government structure like? And they give you some tables and things like that to help, with that. They do definitely dig in and talk about it a little bit. So unlike Spectacular Settlements, there are some tables here, but this is not nearly as detailed in creating the city as this is more about. I feel like it's more about giving it the flavor that it needs after you've created it. Fleshing out, like I said, I feel like I can use Spectacular Settlements and this book side by side. I really need to look at this book more. I've only had it in my possession for 4 hours, 5 hours, and I haven't read through it yet. But from what I'm seeing of it, it's less like Spectacular Settlements and definitely something unique. They talk about magic in the city, its impacts, things like that. The autonomy of the city, the inhabitants. But chapter 4, I think, is where this book actually kind of shines, because it definitely it talks about building a campaign in the city, and I like this. This, I think, is probably the most useful section of this book. So this is definitely something I'm going to look into. I'm probably not going to do a video on it. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I would love to do a video on it by Friday. I don't know if I'll have enough time to look through it by then, because I'd have to basically read through it, as much of it tonight as I can, and some tomorrow, and then try to record a video tomorrow night, and then get it edited and posted by Friday. That's a lot for a 270-page book. But it does look cool. They talk about urban encounters in here. Let's see what else is in here. The city wealth, crime and punishment. This is a good section to read up on. It's funny because as I'm kind of looking through it, I'm seeing things that I recognize for, let's say, like the Zobek book. I see things like, it's almost like they used this book to create their other books. They kind of took their process and said, when we create stuff, this is our process. Here it is. Create your own stuff. So I think that's kind of neat. It definitely looks cool. Let's see here. Staging encounters. I got some cool maps and stuff. Buildings, streets. City streets are often unique personalities. Movement. Characters moving in and around the city might travel at different speeds, take alternate routes depending on time of day and various events. Things might alter and impede movement around the city, including events such as parades and festivals that block streets and alter topography. Obstacles in streets, contingency routes. I mean, they really think of a lot of stuff in here. Roles of citizens, witnesses' reactions. Oh, so like if you get in a fight, like this is what the witness might do, like random people in the street might do. Your city guard, things like that. Urban adventures. Structure and urban campaign. Yeah, I definitely want to read through this. Sandboxes. I definitely think this is going to be a cool book to read through. It's definitely more of like an informational book. Definitely a good tool for a GM. Seems pretty system agnostic, which I like. So yeah, I'm going to dive into this book this week for sure. I'll try to get a video. I'd love to get a video out by Friday if I can, but that's going to be tough, I think, because it's already Wednesday night. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get one out early next week if I can. But we'll see. Like I said, it's a lot. It's a lot to get through. Well, let's see here. Aside from that, hold on. I got that. If you didn't see my video on this, definitely go check it out. The Pathfinder 2 beginner box. This thing is cool, man. I'm excited to play with this some more. I was like super. It's heavy. I should have weighed it. It's a hefty box. It's got a ton of good stuff in it. I want to play some Pathfinder 2 pretty bad right now. Like honestly, I started. Me and my daughter are playing a campaign, or we're gonna start one. And we're doing a 5e, but I was like, "Do you want to try Pathfinder?" But it's. I'm doing 2 different games with her. I'm doing one with her and her friends. And then I'm doing a one-on-one with her. And the one-on-one I'm actually more excited about because it's her playing a character that's a bounty hunter, but she's going to be a warlock with the Hunter and Darkness patron from Toma Heroes and urban bounty hunter background. And like the way the character is building out, I have a feeling it's going to be a really fun solo campaign. I always feel like solo campaigns are hard to pull off. This one sounds super cool, and I'm really, really excited about it. But I do want to get a Pathfinder 2 game going at some point here. I'd love to maybe get some viewers from the channel and run one. So maybe if any of you are interested, we can get a game going. But it looks super cool. I gotta get the time to like literally sit down and read the rules and learn it. But I feel like the way they designed the beginner box is to learn the rules while you run it. So I think it would be a great learning experience for everybody involved who hasn't played Pathfinder 2. We can kind of learn it together. I also got the, you can see it up here, the Oracle story cards from Nord Games. I actually haven't even opened that box yet. Well, screw it. You know what? Let's take a look. So this is their story generator. This thing, let's crack it open. This thing looks cool because it's basically just kind of a way to randomly generate stories. So what we can do, let's see here. I'm cutting the paper here. Let's see. All right. We're unboxing, guys. All right. Come on. All right. Got a nice book in here. Let's see here. Oh, okay. So this is some quests that, like, adventures they made using the cards. Now in here, we got a nice box that holds a bunch of cards. There's a slot here to hold more cards. Let's see here. How does this? An innkeeper. An explorer. Let's see here. I want to see how this works. It kind of gives us a little. So let's see here. The Oracle Story Generator is designed to help you quickly create interesting and inspiring stories for role-playing game sessions, novels, or simply for your own edification. It is a card deck with a simple built-in engine that allows rapid generation of narrative arcs with amazing variation of potential results. The Oracle Story Generator is split into 5 independent decks: Contracts and Bounties, Epic Adventures, Political Intrigue, Relics and Artifacts, Simple Side Quests. Each of these decks has different themes. Okay. Each deck is split into 5 types of cards. Actor is red, action is purple, subject is blue, intent is green, development is yellow. Before you use the deck should be split into separate piles of each card type. Then you draw 1 card from each pile in the order stated above, and then read through the top line of each card to create a 1-sentence summary of a story. For added detail, you can roll or choose from the options in the table or on the card. The card also includes a brief description of the content so you can get a better idea of the story for your development. All right, so let's grab one of these. Let's see here. Relics and Artifacts, Political Intrigue. Let's do Political Intrigue. I like Political Intrigue. All right, so what I need is somebody, I need you guys, I need all of you, or some of you, whatever, to get some dice out. Get some dice. Because I'm going to have you guys roll. I'm going to open this up while you're doing that. I'm going to have to do a video on these too. I did a video on the Kickstarter a long time ago, but... Alright, here we go. Alright. Let's see here. So here's the cards. You can see too, it's hard to tell, but I'll fan them for you. You can see the colors there. So, nice art on the back too, by the way. Alright. So we have our development cards. I'll put these into piles. I have development, intent, subject. Let me move this over here. Action, and actor. Okay. So let me double check here. So we do it in the order that they said. So we're going to go, we're going to start with an actor, then an action, then a intent. Is that right? Hold on. Action. Oh, no. So then a subject, then an intent, and then a development. So I have them in order. All right. So I'm going to start with an actor here. I'm going to grab one at random. All right. So someone roll me a D4. First person to throw it in there, or just pick a number between 1 and 4. So first one to throw it in there, I'll take. All right. So this says a merchant. Traders and salespersons. Merchants are typically wealthy individuals who make their money by buying cheap and selling high. The goods they handle could be common or exotic. All right, Nick rolled a 3. So that is Commercial Titan. You can see here what the cards kind of look like. So you got Commercial Titan. So with a vast array of stores across the entire realm, this merchant has an enormous wealth which they have used to build an empire. All right, so we're dealing with this wealthy merchant who has an empire across the realm. So now, let's pick a subject. I'll take this one. All right. A business. A business is an institution normally based out of an establishment that provides a way for people to make wealth. All right, I need a D4 roll, please. As soon as I get a D4 roll. So we're going to have either a poor, a modest, a wealthy, or an illicit. Roll. I have a feeling there's lag between me and you guys, so. All right. I'm going to roll. All right. We got illicit. Oh, you know what? All right, I'll take Nick's. We got modest. All right, so earning enough to support a small staff and pay the bills, this business is doing well enough to have a good reputation. So we have this commercial titan. So far it says that with a vast array of stores across the entire realm, this merchant has enormous wealth they have used to build an empire. However, it's modest. Earning enough to support a small staff and pay the bills, this business is doing well enough to have a good reputation. So why is it that it's only doing modestly? He's paying the bills and the staff. He's got a decent reputation, yet he's got an empire of these places. Why is that? That seems like a contradiction. So, with something like that, obviously we could always said, you know what, I'm just going to choose wealthy because it makes more sense, or illicit, but we got modest. So with a contradiction like that, I think that it definitely could spawn an interesting story point. All right, I'm going to need another D4 from you guys here. I'm going to actually need 2 more D4s to cover the next 2 cards. All right. So, for the intent, while I'm waiting for the D4, I'm going to read this. So, he's got to cover up a transgression. The actor did something unscrupulous and is trying to pin the blame on someone else or disguise the truth of their transgression. So, what is that transgression? We need a D4 roll to determine that. Then we're going to have a development. We're also going to need another D4 to determine the development here in a minute. So, Mike says a 1. So, a crime. The actor committed a crime and wants to ensure they will never be caught. This might involve silencing accomplices. All right. So, he's a commercial titan, has an empire of places, but only modestly, these stores are, only modestly wealthy. And they are, they're doing well. They pay the bills and all that, but that's about it. So why is that? Is he losing money? Or was he once bigger and now he's not? And now what is this crime that he committed? What's that about? So let's look at what the development is. But their hand is being forced. The actor is only committing the deed because they are being forced to do so by another, a hidden motivator who benefits from the intent but perhaps cares little for the fate of the actor. All right, and we got a 4. So it's a cover-up. The actor is trying to cover up some past event, something they or someone they love did that needed to be hidden. All right, so they're trying to cover up that crime, it sounds like. All right, so that's what we got. So let's come up with a story. What is this? What is this commercial empire? That's the first question, right? What kind of store is it? It got big, but now it's only modestly wealthy. There was a crime committed, and they're trying to cover up that crime. The actor is only committing the deed because they are being forced to do so by another, a hidden motivator who benefits from the intent and perhaps cares little for the fate of the actor. The actor is trying to cover up some past event, something they or someone they love did that needs to be hidden. Maybe their spouse committed a crime. Maybe their child committed a crime, and they're covering that up. What do you guys think? Let's see. So Nick P says that would explain why he's modestly wealthy, possibly. Maybe he's diverting resources to cover it up. There you go. I like that. Right. This did take a dark turn. Nick says, or diverting resources to do the crime. So maybe he's being blackmailed. Could that be it? The maybe rather than so much the other person How about this? Let's say a family member committed the crime and he's covering it up. Somebody else knows about the crime and is forcing him to make payments to keep silent. So that's why now the business is getting by, staying afloat. Like the person not taking so much money to put him out of business. They want them to stay in business so they can keep getting money, but maybe like half his wealth is pretty much going, like half his profits or more are going to this person who's blackmailing him. Yeah, maybe. So maybe now this person is hiring our adventuring party to silence this other person to take them out. Um, yeah, possible. Maybe one of the employees knows something and mentioned it to the adventurers in a tavern, and now they're looking into it. Um, there's all sorts of possibilities here. I'm kind of curious. I like these cards. They're fun to play with. Let's try another one. Wait, actor. Did we skip one? You know what? We skipped the action. The actor issues an official request to partake in a competitive... Oh, no. Let's do this. The actor will go back on a deal made with the subject behind their back or give information about them to their rivals. Conspiracy. The actor spreads conspiracy theories about the subject that ultimately lead to their downfall. Interesting. You guys want to do another one? We can do another one. I will... Let's see here. Let's grab the decks. All right. Do we want contacts and bounties? Do we want epic adventures? Do we want relics and artifacts? Or do we want simple side quests? Pick one. We have simple side quests, epic adventures, relics and artifacts, or contracts and bounties. I'll open up another one here. And then we can do one more. These are fun to play with, man. Relics. All right, we're doing relics. All right, relics it is. All right. Relics it is. Let's see here. All right. These are from Nord Games, by the way. All right. So we got our developments. We got our intent. We got our subject. We got our action, which we kind of forgot last time. And we have our actor. All right, I'm going to start with the actor. I need a D4. I already got the relics one open, so we're doing this one. All right, give me some D4s here. A mercenary. Trained individuals who take on jobs for money. Mercenaries typically have a specific set of valuable skills that are otherwise hard to acquire. All right, so give me a D4. We can do bounties next. That's cool. Or we can do epics. All right, we got a 4. Criminal. Thieves, burglars, assassins, poisoners, thugs, and the like. Some criminals make themselves available to hire rather than working under their own system. All right. So we got a mercenary criminal. So now we're going to get our action. Our action is will abuse. So give me another D4. Okay, I got our next couple D4s already. Will abuse. The actor intends to misuse the item in some way or to damage it. In order to achieve their intent, this might have repercussions depending on the power of the item. So we got a 2. So misuse. The actor will use the magic of the item in a way it was never intended to be used. This will work to some extent, but might have negative consequences. So we have a criminal mercenary who plans to misuse the item. All right. So, hold on a second. Subject. I'm gonna pull from somewhere in the middle of the pile. All right. It's a magic weapon. All right. I'm gonna need 2 more D4s, so get those going. A magic weapon. Weapons become enchanted, blessed, or hexed in a myriad of ways. Perhaps they were created by magical smiths or struck by lightning on an elemental plane. All right, so with our 1, we have a melee weapon. The magic item is a melee weapon. It might terrify foes who are hit with it, drink their blood to heal the wielder, or emit an aura of flame. All right, so we have a criminal mercenary who plans to misuse this magical melee weapon. So what is the weapon? And how do they want to misuse it? That's a good question. So intent is next. We're going to have intent in development. So I'm going to need D4 rolls for both of these. All right. Intent. Cool art, by the way. So to increase their power. The magic item allows the actor to increase their power in some respect. Maybe it alone is enough to achieve this, or maybe it is a means to an end. So we got a 3. Win favor. The actor wants to win the favor of another individual, a deity, a faction, faith, cult, or similar. So they plan to increase their power to win the favor of somebody. I wonder who. All right, we have 1 more card here. We have the development card. Give me 1 more D4. But a rival stands in their way. The actor has a rival, someone they have been working against for some time in competition or ill intent, who tries to stop them. Let's see what we get. I need a D4 roll. Come on, Nix or Mike. Somebody give me a D4. This is going to get interesting. I like this card. Who's the rival? Who's the rival? A 4. Interesting. Unknown. The rival was unknown to the actor until now. Maybe they are a foe thought dead, or someone trying to avenge their forgotten relatives. All right. So we have a story here. We have a story of a criminal mercenary, a thief, a burglar, an assassin, a prisoner, thug, something like that, that wants to get this magical weapon, which they will misuse. The actor will use the magic of the item in a way it was never intended to be used. This will work to some extent, but might have negative consequences. It's a melee weapon. It is they're looking to win the favor of somebody with it, right? They're trying to maybe impress somebody or something, and they have a rival that they don't know about, whether that was a forgotten foe that they thought dead, or somebody that maybe it was just also, after the item. What do you guys think? What's the story here? I'm curious. I think that I like the idea that he's a thief. I think I like the whole thief or burglar type thing. I think that the weapon is maybe, it's a weapon, so I think it's let's say a magical dagger or something. What's the dagger's power? Maybe it is. Maybe it's like a weapon that can somehow. I don't know. Maybe it's like a weapon that can make them quicker, make them deadlier, something like that. They're trying to maybe Let's say it's like it does. What if it's something like that can be thrown and reappear, and they're something like that, and they're trying to impress like their guild master or something. Let's see. Nick says it's a ceremonial dagger that he wants to use to impress a patron, but it cuts through reality and summons aberrations. That's interesting. That's interesting. But it's supposed to increase their power. How is it supposed to increase their power? Well, I guess it's supposed to win favor, right? So, maybe it was part. Maybe what if the dagger was part of some ancient culture that patron is obsessed with, that like they wanted to study, like some ancient civilization that they are just like obsessed with and wanting to learn more about, and this guy goes looking for this weapon to try and impress this patron, and ends up like you said, that this weapon can cut a hole in reality. Yeah, or an ancient religion. Now, who's the rival? Who's the rival that stands in their way? That's what I'm curious about. Is the rival? Maybe the rival is another page, like not like the patron's rival, as opposed to the thief's rival. There's a good Michael Murrock story with similar theme, the last book of a sailor of the seas of fate. I'll have to take a look. It sounds cool. Yeah, the rival could be maybe like, some kind of treasure hunter or archaeologist kind of, person who another patron sent after the item as well, who knows what it's for, knows what it can do. Maybe it's a warlock or something like that. That is the rival that wants the dagger. Maybe instead of aberrations, it can summon, demons or something like that. Let's see here. It could be a reversal. The rival could be trying to stop the aberrations, but the players think the rival is bad. True. Like a rival religion. Well, so we have. Well, here, this is our story, right? We've generated a story about this rogue who's after this dagger, this magical weapon that can rip a hole in reality to impress their patron, and they have a rival. How do our players now tie into that story? That's the question, right? Are our players hired by the rogue to accompany him, or are our players hired by the rival to stop him? All possibilities. Or are we too late? Did all this already happen and the aberrations are now free and our players have to stop it? Right? These cards, like just 5 cards, and we've just generated a campaign. We've just kind of set a whole campaign in motion, a whole plot in motion. I think that's kind of cool. I like these things a lot. This is fun. You guys said you wanted to do... you want to do bounties, or do you want to do an epic next? A rival collector. There, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was always kind of thinking of Indiana Jones and what was the French archaeologist's name? That was his rival which one was it? The first movie, the Ark movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark. All right, do you guys want to do bounty? I know I saw both epics. Do you want to do epic adventures, or do you want to do a contract and bounty? I kind of want to do a bounty one. I think a bounty one sounds fun. Let's do the bounties. Base cards are fun. Okay, let's see. Oh, dude, the art on the contract and bounties ones. Look at this. Look at the art. These are cool. All right, development. Here's the intent art. These are super cool. I like this set a lot. Here's the subject art. Action. An actor. Mike's already got our first roll. You know what? Oh, hold on. I think we had some rolls from before we didn't use. Right? Yeah. So we'll go 2, 3, 2 for our first 3 rolls. All right. So I'm going to pick our actor. A soldier. Soldiers are those who have fought in wars, defended settlements against monster attacks, and are at least battle trained, even if they have never seen combat. So, going back to Mike's previous roll of 2, we have a veteran. Seasoned warriors who have seen many fights and lived to tell the tale. Veterans are talented combatants who know how to handle a brawl. All right, and then we're going to go to Nick's 3 for our action. We'll hire you to steal from. The actor wants something stolen from the subject. It might be something that rightfully belongs to the actor, something that endangers others, or simply as an act of greed. So a 3, we have possession. Some gear or other items that the subject owns, which could be valuable, dangerous, or sentimental. It could be something they keep on their person at all times. So this veteran soldier wants you to steal a possession from this other person, from this subject. So we're about to draw the subject card. Let's see here. The subject is, we have a 2. The subject is a fae. Magical creatures closely tied to the forces of nature. Fae dwell in twilight, groves, and misty forests and are often capricious in temperament. So we have a 2. So a satyr. Righteous revelers and unconscionable carousers. These merrymakers delight in drawing mortals into their reveries. All right, so this veteran soldier wants us to steal something of this satyr, from this satyr. Okay, intent. I need 2 more D4 rolls. All right, we have a 1. Give me 1 more D4 roll for the development. All right, so for our intent, to uphold the law. The actor might be generally a law-abiding citizen or want to uphold a certain law for their own benefit. Personal. The law being upheld is a self-imposed one. The actor perhaps took an oath or made a promise to themselves that they hope never to break. So let's see. The law being upheld is a self-imposed one. The actor perhaps took an oath or made a promise to themselves that they hope never to break. All right, so this veteran soldier took an oath, and because of this oath, whatever it may be, they now are hiring our party to steal something from a satyr. And we have a development. Nick P is giving us 1 as well. So the development is, but doing so unwittingly fulfills a prophecy. The creatures involved do not realize that their action furthers an ancient prophecy of immense importance. Once the contract or bounty is fulfilled, something immense comes to pass. You roll the 1. World ending. The apocalypse is started. Perhaps a plague of zombies begins swarming across the world, or a supervolcano erupts and covers the world in ash. So, should we succeed in our task to steal this item from this satyr, to uphold this oath that this veteran soldier took, we end the world. That's a lot more than a development, man. That's a bitch. Dude, these cards are hella fun. These are a lot of fun to play with. We gotta, I want to write this story, actually. This is a great story. That sounds awesome. Oh, good going. We ended the world. We did end the world. It's not a D&D campaign if you don't end the world. What if what if the item we had to steal was a deck of many things? After I put these in the wrong order. Action, subject. There you go. Intent and develop. Okay. All right. It will summon the Horn's original owner, Cthulhu 2. Exactly. Can't go wrong with Cthulhu. All right. Should we do one more? We've got an epic adventure or a simple side quest. He's like Cthulhu 1, but with a bigger budget. Cthulhu 1's got a pretty big budget. Yeah, I love the deck of many things too. I you know what? It's funny is at the end of our Tome of Annihilation campaign, I just threw it at my party, like on the very last session, at the end, after they escaped and everything. I gave them a deck of many things and just let them draw from it. And then one of them disappeared. One of them got the wish, though. And I think they wished them back. Okay. So, yeah. Do you guys want to do one more? We can do side quest or we can do epic adventure if you guys want. We have 2 left. I'm down. Mike's already rolling dice, so I'm assuming that means he wants to do another one. You know, I know you guys said epic earlier, so I guess we can do the epic adventure. Yeah, all right. Nick says epic. We're doing epic. We're going epic. These are freaking fun. Jeez, man. This is why I love Nord. Nord makes fun toys. I want to just take these in my room and just freaking sit there and come up with random crap. You know what I should do? I got my daughter's game starting. Maybe I'll just make, because I have the bounties one here and she's a bounty hunter. Maybe I'll just do an entire campaign using that deck. I could totally do that. That'd be fun. All right, these are cool. Here's our development art. Our intent art. Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, Nord, you can't go wrong with pretty much anything Nord makes. I'll have to put the my you know what? Hold on a second. Give me a second. Let me get you my affiliate link for it, since you know. Let's see here. Where is my link? This is my affiliate link for Nord. So if you buy anything from Nord, use this link. It'll help support the channel. So here's our subject art. I like these. That's a cool one with them jumping at the dragon. We have our action art. And we have our actor art. All right, I have a 3, and a 1 so far. I'm going to need 2 more D4s to make this happen. So you guys get those rolled. All right, starting with our actor, we have a mythical monster. These monsters are world-defining, Cthulhu. The decisions they make change the realities of every other living being, Cthulhu. They are nearly unstoppable and terrifying, Cthulhu 2. So we got... Our first roll was a 3. A giant. The various species of giant have their own unique features and cultures, but all are truly powerful in their might and many in their innate magic. By the way, 1 was Kraken and 2 was Tarask. Just throwing that out there. We got the tamest of the bunch here with the giant. So, the giant. The various species of giants have their own unique features and cultures, but all are truly powerful in their might and many in their innate magic. Okay, so action. Will terrorize. The act of terrorizing is to create extreme fear within a target and maintain it to serve a specific purpose. So we have a giant terrorist. Cool. Nick also rolled a 3. So extortion, to extract wealth through threats. So this monster is basically threatening to crunch people if they don't give him wealth. So far we got Jack and the Beanstalk, guys. All right, subject. An artifact. What was our third roll? So we had a 3, we had a 3, we have a 1. An artifact. Magical items of immense power. Artifacts are often one of a kind with mythical history. So one is weapon. Magical weapons are used for evil as often as good and have powers beyond simple bonuses. Okay. So this giant wants this artifact. Why does he want it? Well, your girlfriend got you the Dreaded Curse. It is a cool book. The Revenge of the Horde is also a cool book worth having. All right, so Nick got us a 2 on this. So, in pursuit of glory, the actor is following a path which they believe is in some way glorious. The nature of the glory and the effect it has on others might be entirely desperate. So, a 2 is infernal. The actor wishes to gain favor in the hells for their evil act of cunning or warfare. Okay, so now we have a giant who is extorting people in order to gain a magical weapon that will gain him favor in hell with evil acts of cunning and warfare. Okay, so we have a giant terrorist who's a dick. That tracks. All right. Finally, we have a 2. The development is, but they will pay dearly for the consequences. When the action of the actor comes to pass, there are consequences, unforeseen or otherwise, that change the actor's life in a monumental way. So, death. The consequence of the actor's action results in their death, either directly or indirectly. So, what if they get this weapon, they're looking for to gain favor in the hells, but in doing so, they die and their soul is owned by owned by some devil, as opposed to them getting favor, they become enslaved. My current Pathfinder 1E campaign I'm running is lovingly called Cthulhu War. I thought about some kind of Cthulhu type creature for my Midgard campaign. I love what I've gotten so far. Oh, you're talking about Nord, yeah. Stormbringer. That would be cool. It could be like a cloud giant looking for this Stormbringer weapon. But I feel like it would have to be some kind of infernal weapon. Maybe even like an intelligent weapon. Something like... what's the one from Critical Role that Grog had? It was in this season of the animated series too. It's like the one that drinks the blood and everything. Something like that. But whatever this weapon is, they end up basically selling their soul for it in some way. And when it backfires and kills them, they end up their soul ends up damned. That could be kind of cool. That is definitely it's funny, if we took these same cards, right? And we just did this again, and we do a Kraken instead. The tentacle monsters of the deep wish to rule the waves and can level entire fishing villages with a swipe of a tentacle. Then the intent could be intimidation, to threaten with aggression or force. The artifact could be a relic. Magical items that channel the power of the divine are called relics and normally only usable by the devoted to their associated deity. And their in pursuit of glory, their intent could be mythical. The actor wishes to be remembered through time for their incredible deeds. And then the development could be. I would still go with death. That could be a good story there too. And that's just me choosing some that I liked. Stormbringer is an intelligent evil weapon that corrupts its user and kills them. Well, that works then, I guess. Well done. A fire giant that wants to make a shiny weapon. Possibly. Michael Moorick, man. Favorite fantasy author of all time. Stormbringer is one of his best novels and is all about that sword. What's the name of the novel? Is this the same one you were talking about earlier? No, it's a different one. Michael Moorick. Stormbringer, the name of the novel? Okay. I'll have to take a look at that. I'm actually reading The Hobbit right now because when I was at the Ren Fair, was it 2 weeks ago or whenever, I found an old copy of The Hobbit from 1968. I had like a little soft cover copy. I had to buy it. It's just so great. It's so great. I grabbed it and I just looked at my wife. She's like, "Are you gonna read that?" I'm like, "I'm going on an adventure." She just shook her head. The Hobbit's such a good book. The whole series is called Elric. Okay. I'm always down for new books. I have so much trouble finding time to read, but every now and then I just like to sit in bed and read. You know what's funny is I've been reading what's it called? What's the book about the history of Wizards of the Coast? Something of the Dragon. It's on my nightstand in my bedroom. Otherwise, I'd go grab it. But it's funny because I started reading it like last year, and I kind of put it down. I started picking it up again, but towards the end of the book, they talk about the OGL, and it was funny like reading that during this whole OGL debacle. All right. Well, should we do the side quest one? We did the other 4. Should we do one more? I think we should do one more. Might as well. We did the other decks. Let's do one more. These are too much fun. We have some more people joining us too, which is cool. So we're for those of you who are joining us and kind of wonder what we're doing, we are playing with the Oracle Story Generator from Nord Games. It is a series of, 5 different decks of these tarot-sized cards that are intended to help us just kind of create an adventure of some sort or a story. So they're broken up into, each deck has 5 different, sets of cards. So we have the development. We've got the intent. Here's the intent. I'm showing the artwork for each of them is different. We have the subject. We've got the action. The action. And then we've got the actor. So we're going to pick one from each, and they're going to kind of combine to make a story. The order goes Elric, okay, Sailor of the Seas. Okay, so it's part of the same series you were talking about. Weird of the White Wolf, The Vanishing Tower, Bane of the Black, and Stormbringer. I would have to check them out. I'll have to hit up the used bookstore. Yep, we're doing side quest. Slaying the Dragon is the book. All right, I'm getting my rolls already here. So, Morik's Quorum series is awesome too. I love how all his series are versions of the same Eternal Champion. Okay. 2 more rolls. I need 5 total. We're rolling D4s, by the way. So if any of you other viewers want to roll a D4 and add the number in there, we'll use yours. Whoever puts the numbers in first, I'm picking. All right, so our actor for this one is a merchant. A trader of some variety who might own a stall, shop, or simple cart. They might be offering their own handmade artisan goods or reselling goods they have invested in. All right, so Mike rolled a 2, so he's a specialist. This individual has access to specific items that are otherwise hard to find. They might offer these items as a reward. All right, my mind's already going to like some guy in the black market. Maybe they deal with items of the occult. All right. Next up is our action. Needs to blockade. The party must seal off a place from trade, transportation, or any other means by arriving or leaving. The blockade might only need to be temporary or might have to last for a lifetime. So Nick rolled a 3. So besiege. Using a mixture of manpower and equipment, the party must undergo a protracted blockade of the subject. So let's see who the subject is, or what the subject is. A poisonous swamp. Bogs, marshes, wetlands, and swamps that contain something deadly. This on top of the already difficult to navigate and potentially lethal terrain. All right, so Nick rolled a 1. We're going to need 2 more D4s still. So somebody roll a D4 and put the result in chat. So we got a 1. So venomous snakes, serpents with poisonous bites that dissolve flesh and cause paralysis, slither through the reeds and rushes. All right, so we're trying to blockade a swamp for this specialist merchant. This is weird. All right, let's go with intent. To lay foundations. The actor or someone they are working on behalf of seeks to start building something that will change the face of the world. They need help to get the ball rolling. All right, so a 3. Fortress. A military outpost of some sort, perhaps permanent or temporary, needs to be able to hold a garrison. All right. And finally, the development. But doing so supports another foe. Although they might not realize that the action the actor wants to occur will actually support another one of their or their associates' foes. And we have a 4, some wizard. The action that the party takes provokes the ire of a powerful spellcaster or malign intent, or at least draws their attention to the area. You know, it says a spellcaster. I'd maybe go with a druid in this case rather than a wizard necessarily. So this merchant is trying to set up shop. There's a nearby swamp that they need to, blockade against, to barricade against. A physical blockade must be erected that prevents access to these venomous snakes. So nearby swamp, tons of venomous snakes threaten this guy's business, so you need to be able to blockade it. And then eventually they want to be able to build a fortress there. So maybe this merchant is somehow connected to the military. There's some kind of fortress that's going to go up, so he wants to set up shop in order to supply these soldiers with weaponry. So he needs you to help basically block off these snakes that are coming in from the swamp. However, you piss off the local druid. If form is great, I'm also a fan of Hawkmoon. I don't know any of these. Hawkmoon. Yeah, I don't know that one. Jeremy Cornelius, my God, that's a weird and fabulous way. Anyone else? No. Yeah, I think we've all rolled. So that is our Oracle Story Generator cards, guys, from Nord. Definitely worth checking out. We should do these more often. There's another one that did the Kickstarter already end? They had another one in Kickstarter. Let me see. Let's see. Nord Games. No, it's at 7 days to go, actually. So if you guys like these cards, right? Here, let me pull this up for you. If you like these cards, they have the Oracle Character Generator, which goes really nicely hand in hand. So right here, it's already raised nearly $200,000. It's got 7 days to go, but very similar. You know, I actually got to play with these on their live. They have the PDF download here. We talked about this on one of the other lives a few weeks ago. But you could basically create a character. They only have one example of one of the decks in here. But you know, let's say we picked the fighter and we roll a 2. We have a Battlemaster fighter, who you can roll 2 to pick. Like rather than picking a card at random, we can roll to pick which card. So we roll a d12. Let's say we got a 5. We pick the fighter. We roll the d4 on the fighter. Then we come down here. We roll again. Let's say we get humorous. So we can go over to the humorous card. We roll a d4 and we get 1. So quick wit. This individual is rapid with their witticisms and sarcastic responses. They simply cannot be caught off guard and always have a quib ready to fire back. Then we go to their motivation. So we'll say redemption, and maybe let's see, past crime. The individual committed a crime in the past and they want to make up for. They do this indirectly or directly. So you can see here, hoping to atone for some past action. The individual might hope that they will be redeemed for fighting against the gang they once worked for, or that a deity will forgive them if they perform enough good deeds. So their flaw is overconfidence. Arrogant. The individual is genuinely good at a number of things and has many abilities, but they will not let anyone forget it. And then last we'll go to their intrigue, which we'll say is wanted. This individual has done something that makes them wanted. They may have committed a crime or other transgression that follows them. Let's just say by authorities. Having committed or been accused of a crime, the individual flees the authorities of a certain settlement or region. So that all works out pretty well, right? They committed a crime. They are looking for redemption of that crime. And you've got some personality traits. They're kind of an overconfident, arrogant person who's also kind of funny and sharp-tongued. So you can make these characters and use it in combination with maybe somebody in these story cards that we just used. But it's a neat deck. Yeah, Deep Magic's doing well as well. Thanks for hanging out, Nick. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time. So yeah, definitely make sure if you guys like these. I put the link in chat earlier. I'll put it in the description of the video too, in case you're watching this, not live, and you want to pick up the Oracle Story Generator. You definitely can pick that up from Nord. So I'll put my affiliate link in there, and then go. I'll also put my link into the Kickstarter. I do have an affiliate link for the Kickstarter as well, that you can use. But yeah, it's a ton of fun. I like this a lot. I enjoyed playing with it. So let me see here real quick, just so I have it. Is that the right one? Nope. Here we go. And I just want to pull up. I should have my my affiliate link here for the Kickstarter as well. Where is? I'm just looking for my my message from Chris from Nord. So I think he sent me an affiliate link. Yep, here it is. So here is my affiliate link for the Nord Kickstarter. So if you do decide to back it, you can use that link, and that will also help out the channel. So I'll put both those links in the description of the video too, like I said, in case you're watching afterwards. So, all right, guys. I think that's about it for tonight. I really had a good time though tonight. Thanks for hanging out and doing some of the Black Flag playtests with me. Make sure you fill out your surveys in that. Don't forget we talked about with the 33 points and with the standard array being a little weak. And then I think the only other real issue I had was with that one human background or heritage, the urban one, and I think the melee talents are a little lackluster. So that's where I stand at. All right, guys. Thanks again for hanging out. And let me switch over here so you can see it. Thanks again for hanging out. And yeah, until next time, I'll see you later.